Here we are. So I hope everybody's doing all right. Let me switch this. So hopefully I can see all the messages. How are you? Thanks for asking. All out testing. Doing great. How about you? Fine, just fine. 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 Sounds like the audio's working all right. The God, have you dated, had sex with, or had sex with a Muslim girl? Not to my knowledge. At the top of my head, what I can think of now, no. Not to my knowledge. I can't think. No, can't think of one. Jonathan Myers, math time. You all good, AD? Yeah, man. I'm gonna be on about an hour, and I'm gonna tap out. And I'll show you another book I got today. I just felt like going to the library, and to like the main city library, because I kind of quit going there for a while because the books there really aren't like. I mean, they're not bad, but they're not like that hard focus, They're kind of like, I mean, they're not bad books. They're just kind of like this general overview type of thing, but they're not bad books. And I got a book there today. I just kind of picked one up randomly and started reading it. Ended up reading the whole chapter and really liked it, so I took it. So I'll go over that in a minute. What's up, Elijah? How's Kratos? Oh, he's good, man. He's fucking running. He's good. It's to the point now where I gotta check my shoes before I put my shoes on because he done put blocks in them and shit. Yeah, he's good. What's good, these? It's Super. Yo, what's up, Super? Oh, yeah, I'm good, man. How you been? I hope things been working out with you, man. Yeah, I'm good. What's up, yo? I didn't recognize the TRCGM. Looks like you was on something when you made that name, but you know what that means. I don't know what that means, man, but I'm sure you know what it means. TRCGM. I can't even try to make something out of that. I'm sure you got it though. But yeah, man, I'm good, man. It's good to hear from you, man. Really good to hear from you and everybody. But yeah, good to hear from you, man. Oh yeah, so the book I got. So I'm finishing. I'm a little more than halfway through this book. I talked about this yesterday. The growth and ontogenetic development, man. I never even knew what that word meant till I got that book. But they gave this book out for free at the science library. But I got this today. The Great Warming. And I started reading it. I just opened it randomly, and it's the Great Warming, climate change, and the rise and fall of civilizations. So here's the thing with climate change, the thing is like it's already happened. Like I want to say like it's already like it's been like scientifically proven to have happened at least 9 times already, like in the past, right? So when you get on the topic of climate change, like it's a very deep topic, and like pretty quickly you can kind of tell, like depending on who's talking about it, like how much they've ever actually looked into it, type of thing, and why they would come to this conclusion. And it's like, but the thing is with climate change, like you can have no idea what you're talking about, but accidentally stumble into the conclusion that people who like have looked into it in any depth can. So and I think that's the big issue with the whole topic of climate change is like one person can be a complete absolute moron and come to a conclusion and have like no literally no study on it in the past, whereas another person could at least study a little bit to a lot and come to that same conclusion. So I think that's what's kind of like throwing the whole validity of it off, right? Because on one hand, when it comes to climate change, like it's real for sure, and it's happened, I want to say, at least 8 or 9 times previously in the past. Like that's just a scientifically proven, like it's happened numerous times in the past. So with that being said, a big question is, well, it must not be the cars and the oil and all that shit. Maybe it's just the earth doing it, blah, 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 right? And that's a whole gray zone when the topic comes up, like of the people who are going to start fighting. Like, yeah, like it's like, because in some, I can't remember who it was. Some government person was talking. Somebody who works in government was talking about. They were saying, yeah, like it has nothing to do with us, blah blah blah. And he could be saying that just because he just don't want to believe in it, or he could be saying that because he actually knows, yeah, what's actually happened 8 or 9 times before, and that's just 8 or 9 times that we know about it happening, right? So it's like it's a real the issue on climate change is definitely it's much deeper. It's a much deeper topic that I think that I think out of every 10 people, I think at best 5 of them just can't even comprehend the just like the basic scientific reality behind it, right? So I think this is one of those things like I think it's like let's just say like diets and vitamins or something like that, right? I think that in the reality of it, to dive on any deeper conversation, I think most of society is just not really qualified to even begin to talk about it. But they can accidentally come to the same conclusion, right? Like if you just eat a decent diet, you be healthy, right? Like you could still come to that same conclusion, but not really know what the fuck you're talking about for real, like the whole way up to, right? I think climate change and diet, like those two theories are the same. Because I got into an argument on Facebook with this one dude. I start talking shit on Facebook. But I got into an argument with this one dude because he was trying to say how North America, our food is terrible. And this is just a common thing that the whole world says. And I think it's just something that is just easily hopped on, is that because people have this weird hatred for America. I'm not going to go on a rant too long about that, but I figured out why. Let me remember his diet. That's where I was going with it. And the banned substances. So yeah, and I figured out why the world doesn't like North America, like on a deep subconscious level. It's because North America treats the rest of the world how the rest of the world treats Africa, and they don't like that shit. Right? Like that, like that's the conclusion I've come to. I don't know if I've said it on YouTube or not. I think I told my dad that, but I've come to that realization, like that's what it is. Like the world, that's one of the few reasons why the world kind of has this like instinct to like talk shit about North America, is because North America treats the rest of the world how the rest of the world treats Africa, right? And they don't like that shit. They don't like that feeling, right? Because if you think about it, like, see, like America, we as Americans, we use the rest of we literally use the rest of the world as our vacation zone, right? Like as an American, when you leave North America, like you are officially on vacation, right? Like you don't, you mean like, like we see the rest of the world as vacation territory, slave labor. You know what I mean? Like we see the rest of the world like that, right? Whereas when you get to talk about like Europe, I'd kind of throw Canada in there a bit. Europe, Canada, South America. See, like they like from their perspective, it's kind of like, oh, like we look down on Africa. Like Africa is where we go and fucking eat a bunch of food and live like kings, and go to Tanzania. Is it Tanzania? Tunisia. That's a big that's a big tourist area. Tunisia. We go to these places and just use a slave labor, and we don't care about their presidents or their legal problems or their housing market. We just come there and we eat and drink all their food and use their slave labor, fuck all their women and leave. Right? Like, you see, like the rest of the world treats Africa like that, right? But then, see, when America comes into Europe and we treat Europe like that, or we treat South America like that, see, they don't like that. Right? Because, like, oh, man. Like, because they was the big dog on the block until, like, the big dog came in and, like, kind of, humbled the shit. Right? And that's another mini theory I have as to why the world has this, like, subconscious, like, immediate hatred to when any politics or anything comes up, everybody always, or diet, anything, people immediately want to just just jump on. Anyway, the topic of when we got on when I was talking to the guy was Anthony. Oh yeah. I talked to her about. I talked to her about what a conversation came up 2 days ago about how shitty I think Europe is, how they treat the English language because they just like it's like so okay. I got pulled over like 2 or 3 days ago, right? I don't have a Czech driver's license. I never did. I'm never gonna get a Czech driver's license because I don't like how Europe treats America. I don't like how Europe treats English speaking Westerners. I think Europe proper treats English speaking Westerners like shit because they know that the Westerners will worship Europe because the name's Europe, right? And so the reason why I don't have a Czech driver's license is because I'd have to pay like $500 to get it, and then in typical European fashion, they're gonna make you fail it at least twice to get more money out of you, and I'm just not gonna pay. I'm just not paying for it, right? Because I know how this game is really gonna go. Even if I do go out there and get in a car accident and I end up having to pay for somebody else's shit, I'm just not paying it. Because then what's gonna happen? Your insurance gonna have to pay for that, right? Because I'm just not gonna pay it. Right? I mean, you could play it. You run that game, run that threatening game on me to get me scared about it. I'm not scared about that shit. I'm just not gonna pay it, right? And I told my girl, I said, see, because that's that shitty shit that Europe does with English. It's like, on one hand, they be so happy that they can speak English, but they gonna tax English a lot harder, right? Like if they get the chance, right? And I think that's fucked up. But anyway, back to the original topic. When when oh yeah. It was a topic that came up about American foods and how American food is awful because and I'm not okay. I'm not fighting that. American food is pretty bad. I'm not gonna argue that. American food is bad, and you have to pay, a lot more money to get the same quality of food there that you get here, right? I'm not arguing that America's, in terms of preparation, American food is awful. But in terms of banned substances and preservatives and shit like that, no, America's doing probably better than most other countries on planet Earth. Um, and to prove my point, I sent the guy an article proving a point on banned substances between Europe and North America. And actually, North America actually bans more substances than Europe than all the countries in Europe do. I think North America, in that specific article, it states that it was a medical journal, and North America actually banned, I think, like 28 or 29 certain substances, and Europe only had banned like 25 of them or some shit like that. But there was definitely a lot more. It just depends on how deep you want to go. But in reality, when it comes to the food safety and shit, like no, America really is. America is not a slouch, man. I mean, every place has good and bad sides. I'm not trying to say America is a heaven. I think that's what non-Americans automatically assume I'm trying to say. Like, but that's not what I mean. Every place has its good sides and bad sides. Everywhere you go is gonna have a positive and a negative, right? But but when it comes to foods when it comes to foods, um, education, healthcare, like education, healthcare is not free in the U.S. But in my opinion, that's what keeps the U.S. pumping hard. But I'm not gonna go into that whole deep because I always talk about this shit all the time. Um, But yeah. When it comes to okay, the only area that I found in my time of looking into it, where America does just suck when it comes to adding things into food, is adding sugar and salt. Those two areas is where America sucks, and coincidentally, like the countries that are like a bit behind on a massive scale type of shit, those are the countries that just double down on the stereotypes. They add more sugar and salt to the food. I think I was watching one documentary where India did that with their cake when they brought Kentucky Fried Chicken to India. They doubled down on the salt and sugar and amounts in the food, whereas Europe cut a lot of that the salt and sugar. And that's the between the U.S. and Europe. That was the only area that I could find where it's like, okay, this is consistent. This is something that is consistent between the two. Is America adds more salt and sugar to their food, and Europe will cut it out. What's up, Alex? It's weird they ban substances, yet they still have many health problems and obesity. Well, yeah, Alex. See, the issue with the U.S. is the U.S. became it became too efficient. Obesity, in my opinion, is a sign of becoming is a sign of becoming too efficient, too just far too efficient. See, okay, and I hate getting on this topic about U.S. versus America, but see, there's a lot of issues in other countries that just are not spoken about because, just to be honest about it, North America's media owns the entire world. North American media is media, and everybody else is just like, you know, an appetizer at best to get back to the mainstream, which the media, which is America. So any problem that America has is going to be put on TV tenfold. It's going to be put on TV, and everybody's going to talk about it. Everybody's going to know about it. That's why when North America lost the Olympics for the basketball, that was headline news in the sports world, right? Because America lost. And the reason why that was headline news is because America's not supposed to lose, right? And they didn't even lose by a lot. They like they got blown out. I think they lost by less than 10. But that shit made headline news in the sports world, right? Because America's not supposed to lose. America's supposed to win, right? But when you talk about the housing market and inflation, oh, like, see, Americans, if anybody in America right now, y'all think y'all got it hard. I mean, okay, and I was talking to my dad about this. To the American, they think they have it hard, but they still gotta, they have it hard from based off of what they used to having, right? Right? See, as an American, you have a certain you have a certain. Here's another reason why North America is an anomaly to the rest of the world too. Is that while one, yeah, North America is spoiled. I'll happily own that. North America is spoiled, right? But on the back end, North America still has that go-getter mentality. And here's how I'm gonna make a perfect correlation, right? So it's spots like this in North America too. You know when the Vietnamese, when the Spanish, they come there and they be working hard, right? In North America, right? Like when them foreigners, any type of foreigner, they come to North America from like them poorer countries and shit, or they just come from a poorer background and they go to North America and they work hard and they work their ass off. See, as an American, you got it in you to go do that over there. You don't know it yet, but you have it in you because see that healthcare, that education costs, that gasoline costs, that high rent, see all that lit that fire up under your ass to get you up and get you work, get you out there, and you know how to go out there and work harder. And see, that's where, in my opinion, that's where Europe falls off because Europe's social systems are so good, it makes them softer and slower on the back end. Right? So they don't have it in them to hump like that. Right? Right? They hope that you talk yourself into thinking that they do because they're European, but no, they don't have that next level sense of umph. They don't got it. It's no, somebody got to do something for me. I can't. How am I supposed to? Is that how am I supposed to? I mean, they don't have it. Out here, no, they don't got it. They too slow and too soft. But even with the housing market, one motherfucker somewhere was going on about was it? I think it was. I always get that part of Europe confused. I'm pretty sure he's talking about the Netherlands, and he's talking about some what the Netherlands their inflation didn't hit hard, blah 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 blah. And motherfuckers don't know how bad the housing market. When I first came here, I knew a girl who she came to Prague from the Netherlands because the housing market's so bad there. They even find a flat to rent. Not to buy it, to rent. And see, these problems don't make headline world news. Again, why? Because North America owns the media, so every problem that comes out of North America hits first, and everybody else's problems is secondary, right? The housing market here. The friend of mine who brings his daughters down, and they play with my son, right? Because his wife, she left him. For some other dude, and he's fucked up. Actually, that's right now. That the reason why I'm not playing PlayStation anymore or playing the PC anymore because he wanted to borrow my VR headset with the PlayStation 4 in the other room, and And you know, he's like kind of fucked up. So I said, look, man, just take it. Like, you know, just take it and play with it, and just keep it as long as you want. If you want a game, just let me know, and I'll just put money on my check bank, because I never keep money in my check bank account. I said, I'll just put money in check bank account if you just, and just buy whatever game you want. Don't worry about it. Because he's like fucked, you know, because his wife left and he's got the girls and he's fucked up, you know, shit like that. So that's why I'm not playing PC anymore. I don't have my PlayStation controller anymore because I gave it to him. Um, um, I forget. Fuck, I knew I shouldn't have started talking about that because I forgot what the fuck I was talking about. Well, yeah, August line, yeah. Even poor Americans, even the poor Americans have a pretty high standard of living and functioning and having a world around them function properly. Americans, we just have that. So what happens? I'm back on this topic. What happens in the reality of that being spoiled? And so this is another reason why North America is an Americans are an anomaly versus the rest of the world, because we're like, as a country, we do things that we shouldn't do, right? And in my honest opinion, I think it really started when North America became the shit, right? Right around World War II, World War One, and World War II is really when it happened, when that whole shift from the whole belief in the European financial system just crumbled and the US dollar just skyrocketed after that, right? In my opinion, that's where it started. It was right around World War II. And see, the fact that after that point, the U.S. essentially colonized Europe. Let's just call a spade a spade. It is what it is. We have military bases here. They don't have any. If they do, it's not many more than 5 in America, as far as I know. Maybe I could be saying something wrong, so fact check that shit. But as far as I know, there's no French military bases in the U.S. You ain't gonna see no German, no Czech military bases in the U.S., but American military bases are riddled all over here, and they're still growing over here, right? But I think the first, I think another big reason as to why the world is mad at the U.S. They just kind of like, I think they kind of want the U.S. to, like, I think they want to, like, provoke North America, and I think it's a biological situation. Like how I mentioned a long time ago, usually the son always wants to come back and kill the father, right? If you look at if okay, let's use God of War as an example. God of War on PlayStation 2, that how Kratos came back and he just had this random urge to kill his father type of shit. You mean, like, he didn't even know why? He just wanted to fight. He just ended up wanting to fight him and all that. Zeus technically tried to kill him first, and then he said, like, you will never take me off the throne or something like that. But Kratos, like, it's that concept that the son always kind of wants to go back and kill the father, right? Same thing was what happened with Japan. If it was a Suda 431 or some shit like that, where they had their own Holocaust, where they did that shit to the Chinese, like, they would want to go back and kill them type of shit, because once the son, in the context of countries, once they left and they became a successful country, it's that idea of, oh, we made it, we're the chosen ones, now you guys either have to follow us to survive or we gonna kill you type of shit, right? So I think a lot of this stuff is just strictly biological. It's not on an individual, but as a almost like a sheep herd type of thing, like a hive mind kind of thing, right? But the issue is, I think the reason why the world likes to provoke North America is and this is a bit of a stretch, but I think that the world wants North America to go ahead and just play world police and just take shit and beat motherfuckers up. Because the reason why I say that is because after World War II, America really could have done it. And based off of history on biological, in this context, America was right in line to do some shit like that. To go back and to go back to Europe and just beat up the United Kingdom, beat up Europe proper, and be like, ha, this is our shit now, motherfuckers, because y'all motherfuckers gonna kill each other. We gonna take it or we gonna burn your libraries down, right? But what happened was America just never did it. America just, look, they gave Europe a loan, and they gave them a grant which was the same size as a loan, which nobody talks about, by the way, and and just gave them the money to rebuild their country, and then we just essentially put satellites here, right? That's what I'd call this. They did the military bases, and then America just never came and rubbed it in Europe's face. They never came and tried to dominate Europe. They just let them go, right? And I think and deep down, I think on the back end, like Europe on a whole was like waiting to get it, right? like y'all supposed to be beating us up. Y'all won. We can't beat you anymore. But America just never did it, right? And I think it's these little areas is why the world likes to provoke North America, or just immediately jump on anything they possibly can. But then the other anomaly, the other part that's the anomaly, right? And this is really like, I'd say it's a list of 20, 30 things long. But another part of the anomaly is this. Since North America is essentially its own island, the weird thing of what happened is, okay, first the white Americans, they seen everybody else as inferior. That's actually where like the word Caucasian, like white Americans only know the word Caucasian. Like what, like my girl, she never even knew what Caucasian meant. She thought it had something to do with Asia, right? So I had to tell her, like, no, Caucasian is what American whites call themselves. Like, so the word Caucasian is not spoken. I'm sure Canada probably has it, but over here, like, from what I know, like I've never met a white European who knew what Caucasian really was. Like, on a immediate level. Maybe if they had some experience with North America, they may have known. But on an immediate level, it's not a thing. So like it started out in North America, the white Americans essentially they thought they were just like the best of the best whites, and everybody else was like beneath them. Then slowly over time, as the poorer whites could afford to travel, they started to actually like Europe. There some of the richer whites just didn't have a problem with it, but they still seen themselves as better than the European whites. Then that kind of grew into Europe is good because this is where our ancestors come from, and I could see my family lineage. So then the whites started to like Europe, right? But then the weird part that happened after that was the American Stockholm syndrome kind of flipped, and the population almost started to hate themselves, kind of thing. And in my opinion, the American population is starting to hate themselves out of boredom, out of boredom. Now it's this, I hate it. I'm going to leave the country, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to leave the country when Trump becomes president, or I'm going to leave the country if they raise, the price of bacon again, or whatever the fuck, right? And none of them ever do, but they just say it. But it's still there, right? And that's another weird area where like the Americans are coming to the same conclusion that population of the non-Americans are coming to of hate for the U.S., right? But it's coming from two totally different perspectives, but they're coming to the same conclusion. And then, but what tends to happen is when the American when these Americans do fuck around and leave, like they're so confused they can't even survive outside the U.S. Because what happens is most of the times when Americans going to leave the U.S., they're just going to go to the tourist spots, right? And the tourist spots are not the tourist spots do not represent reality. Right, like if a motherfucker were to come to the U.S., like what most foreigners do, they just go to the U.S. and they just go straight to New York City. Right, New York City does not represent a proper image of the whole United States. Right, right, and so this is why you can't really take many non-Americans who go to North America because they just go to Manhattan and think the whole world's gonna be like Times Square. The whole United States and it's not. Right, the Americans, that, but so what ends up happening is, the Americans are ignorant for their own reasons. Non-Americans are ignorant or even more ignorant for their own reasons. But the fact that the American is ignorant, they think that the non-American must be smarter, but the non-American is actually is even less intelligent than they are. And it ends up this clusterfuck of just retardation bouncing back and forth. And it just really it just gets it ends up this clusterfuck of just like dingbat following, and neither one of them know what the fuck they talking about at all, like at all. I mean, is yeah. If Japanese were brutal to the Chinese, yeah. Well, I think what was it called? It was like Suda 431 or some shit like that. Where they went back and that shit was wild. And on top of that, yo, the Japanese motherfuckers, look, and see, this is how media works, man. Them Japanese motherfuckers, they look, the motherfuckers on record saying, yeah, I'll do it again. We had fun. We was cutting women open while they was still alive, and I mean, they was doing all types of shit. And motherfuckers would interview them in on camera. Them old Japanese motherfuckers, like, yeah, that shit was fun. Like, no, don't say that on camera. At least hide it. I mean, Hitler wouldn't even do some shit like that on camera. You mean, at least Hitler tried to pretend like he what? I ain't do that. He tried to pretend he didn't like it. Them Japanese motherfuckers don't give a fuck. They just like, yeah, that shit was fun. I had a ball. I have dreams of doing it again. Them motherfuckers is wild. When them and one thing I would, them Asian motherfuckers are brutal. Them motherfuckers can be brutal, dude. Like, off the charts brutal. I was watching this movie today. It was a documentary called Letter to Masanji or whatever. Masanji, Letter to Masanji, where a dude who was in one of them concentration camps, and he got out. He was like a concentration camp / labor concentration camp type of thing, and he was making Halloween decorations while he was in there, and he was being tortured and all that. And he wrote a letter, and the letter fucked around and made it to some white bitch in like fucking Oregon or some shit like that, right? And she told the news, and they went and found, and the dude, he had gotten out of labor camp since then, but they found him, and he had to escape China and go and run North America, left his wife and everything. I was watching that today. Yeah, them motherfuckers is brutal, man. You don't want to fight them. Woo. Motherfuckers brutal. Like that whole, and see, this is why I be trying to tell Americans in the military and shit like that. See what American military is gangster. Don't get me wrong, but that missing X factor is see, Americans still have that fear of God in them, right? They Americans have that fear of God, and that fear of God will cause you to hesitate a lot more, right? Whereas, see, when you talking about them Russian military, that whole Russian Asian, them motherfuckers, them motherfuckers don't give a fuck. Look, they are strictly bones, tendons, and muscles. They ain't thinking about no heavenly beings and no shit like, you know what I mean, invisible motherfuckers looking down on. You are literally bones, tendons, and muscles. You better figure it out. Right. Like I said a while back, man, like American motherfuckers are gangster. Don't get me wrong. And we got some of the biggest, strongest motherfuckers on the planet. But you stick a whole room of the best American soldiers you got with some of the most scared we call them CCP motherfuckers. Yo, or you know what I'm saying, or pretty much any communist military, right, where everybody be scared of each other in that motherfucker, and you cut them motherfuckers loose, yo, them Americans, so they ain't gonna make it. They ain't gonna. I mean, they'll probably do some gangster shit here or there, but the American soldiers, they ain't gonna make it. They ain't gonna make it. As it, a couple of them might bash some heads in, some shit like that, but on that long haul, look, that whole concept of you got to get some sleep and all that, them motherfuckers don't play that. Sleep. Fuck. Motherfucker, sleep. The motherfuckers don't play that. You know how that communism is. That communism, everybody up in that motherfucker scared of everybody. Everybody just walking around scared. That's what that great Chinese famine was about. I've been wanting to get that book called Tombstone. I keep forgetting to buy it. But that great Chinese famine, that shit was, man, that whole shit started because the motherfuckers was scared. The motherfuckers just starved the whole goddamn country because they was scared. Not because of something, not because something got infected. Because these motherfuckers was scared. You know what I mean? Like, how deep that, you done starved half the damn country because you was scared. Right? Man. That's wild shit. That's wild shit. Can you do Thursday? I don't know if I'll make it. I should be able to make it. This is only 2 minutes long. I should be able to make it. Yeah, today is Thursday. What's it say? 38-year-old, strong, independent, and super narcissistic, super single, aspired passport feminist talks about dating in Thailand. Ooh. That's, ooh. It don't work that way. I just read the title of this video. That don't work that way. That don't work. That does not work that way. That don't work that way. I'm trying to think of that movie, me and my girl. We was watching one movie where this one, was it Julia Roberts? Was it Eat, Pray, Love or some shit like that? It was some movie my girl was watching where I think it was Julia Roberts. I think it was, she went to like some foreign country where they was like living on a beach or some shit like that. And she had to go back home and she didn't want to take him with him and all that. And I said, no, she ain't gonna want to take him with him because she gonna have to explain to her girlfriends back home why she's dating a man who don't earn as much as her. See, it don't work. And she's 30. Look, okay, she can always find dick. This woman in this, what's this, JFK Gomez, she can always find dick. All right. So like, as a woman, and she's a skinny white woman, she always could find some dick. Anywhere on planet ERF, she just hop off a plane. She don't even gotta hop off the plane. She just be on the plane and just keep going. And somebody gonna get to looking at her, right? And pay for her food and all that. She can always get some dick. Getting dick is the least of her problems. Dating, see, look. I'm gonna tell you right now, her dream man is not in Thailand. This woman's dream man is in any country that has an average wage that is equal to her country's average wage or higher. That's where her dream man is. When you go on and you Google average wages of countries, let's do this. Switch this to English. Let's do this. Okay, y'all see that? Okay, let's make this a little bit bigger. I always wanted to go to Monaco. So, where is this bitch from? Is that the Thailand? I think that's a Thailand flag. I think she's British. Let me hear her.
For any women that watching it right now, if your goal is to meet a guy and you move into Thailand, then do not do it. Do not do it.
Oh yeah, no, I can't tell. Okay, now I'm off with this. I want to say she's possibly South African, but somebody can correct me on that. But I'm gonna go ahead and say she's from somewhere in the UK. But I would reach out and say maybe South African. I would reach and say South African. What's up, Ninja? Hi, D. Just came back from Portugal, Spain, and Italy last month. Guess what? I saw women with collarbone. Yeah, not fat bitches over here. But yeah, this woman, her dream man is not gonna be in Thailand. I can tell you right off the bat, right? Right off the bat, her dream man, her going to Thailand is a waste of fucking time. Okay, and like I said, usually by the time women start traveling, it's because she messed up bad. Women. Okay, the only times women travel, and nowadays it could be acceptable if she's just traveling for work, right? If she just got it, she went off, she got a job, she got a good job, and now she can travel with the job. That's about the only way that I can think of off the top of my head if she's traveling for work, right? Outside of that, I wouldn't even say vacation. No, I wouldn't even say a woman traveling on vacation by herself is a good look. I wouldn't even say that. I had an aunt who did that, and she could never keep a man. She took pictures of herself in front of the Eiffel Tower and all that shit, and she could never keep a man. She's a beautiful woman. She was a great aunt, beautiful woman, paid off house, car, and all that, but she could never keep a man. It, by the time women are traveling, especially as an American or like a Western woman, and they leave in that Western cushion zone, something she done fucked up something bad. She's fucked up like something horrifically bad. But let's look at the average income. So let's just use Australia. Let's use Australia. Oh wait, let me do that. Let's use Australia. So the average wage there is $60,000. Okay, so let's say this woman is Australian, which I don't think she is, because Australians they usually put R's where R's don't belong, and don't say the R where it belongs. For example, they say, "I don't know. I don't know where to go. I don't know. I don't know where to go." Like there's no R in no. But I have to get to the car. I don't know where the car is. Like, bro, it's an R in car, and there's no R in no. How are you making that mistake? Oh, the car park, mate. I have to go to the car park, mate, because I don't know where the car park is. Like, it's an R in car, there's an R in park, right? Well, I don't. Where is the confusion coming? I mean, in Australia, like, do they teach motherfuckers in Australia to put R's in no and go and flow? Anything that ends with a O, they just put like there's like a parentheses R on the end of that motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean, like KNOW, not yeah, parentheses or quotation marks R. Well, what am I doing? Yeah, well, yeah, it's quotation marks. Parentheses R. Like, stop it. It doesn't have an R in it. But yeah, let's say she's from Australia, right? And the average wage is 60,000 per year. This comes to what? About 5,500 a month, something like that. So for this woman in Australia, okay, she's not going to Israel. Hong Kong, no. Okay. She'll go down as long as there's another white country. So Hong Kong is not okay. So let's use Australian woman as an example. She makes 60,000 a year. Okay, okay. This white woman, she gonna go. She okay. She has to go to a white country. So Hong Kong, that ain't gonna make it. Israel ain't gonna make it. United Arab, nope, that ain't gonna make it either. So she could fuck with New Zealand's like, relatively close. So she'll fuck with New Zealand. Well, no, that's getting a little too low. Hold on. Is this all in US dollars? Because this shit's looking a little weird to me. But anyway, yeah. So let's say she's Australia. She could possibly fuck with the Netherlands, maybe Austria, Israel, no, Hong Kong, no. Finland, yeah, Finland and Germany, Canada. That's about the lowest. United Kingdom, because of the United Kingdom. So you can always give the UK that because it is just the United Kingdom. If their average wage isn't as high, well, they do have that Commonwealth shit in going for them. But yeah, but any of these higher, well, Qatar, I don't know how you properly pronounce it, but she ain't fucking with that. Um, yeah, any of these higher ones she'll fuck with for sure. But any of these down here, no. All this to her is garbage. She ain't touching none of this. Look, hey, if somebody's watching there, hey, I hate to break it to you, but that's just the truth. The CHRUF. She ain't fucking. All this is garbage to skinny white woman that look like she can figure out how to combine soap and water. All this is no, ain't no dream man. Wait, nowhere in here for her. No, this is wrong. This is wrong. They say Czech Republic average wage is 26,000. No, this is all the way wrong. You see, this is why you got to see. This is why if you want to look up like world data shit, get with motherfuckers who have some experience in the world. Okay, because this right here is just flat out dead. This is just not even close. This is Czech Republic. That's where I'm YouTubing you guys from right now. This is just not even close. In Prague, it's not even that high. This is the average. Yeah, annual income. Yeah, absolutely not. Well, let me take that back. Some wages have gone up lately, but even then, even this would be on the high end, $26,000 a year here, and that's counting living in Prague. It's gonna go down as soon as you get out the capital, right? It's gonna the motherfuckers outside of here, they still making $600 a month. Once you $800 once you get outside of Prague. This isn't too wildly off, but it's not. That's not accurate. It's not accurate. Spain looks about right. Word up. Australians don't really go. Yo, I had a woman actually educate me on that shit. Because I had no idea what New Zealand was to Australia. I had no idea. And she looked like it was like a bothersome thing, Because I thought New Zealand was like. I didn't know where the fuck New Zealand was, honestly. Until she brought it to my attention. And she was clearly, a little bit frustrated that I didn't know. Right? I just never gave it much thought. I knew a decent amount about Australia and New Zealand with the whole. I think what they lead the world in I think it was cows and veal and goat and the goat wool and shit like that. Like they lead the world in that. Like that whole area got they shit together with all that. But yeah, she educated me because I had no idea about it. So actually, New Zealand, from what she told me, is actually pretty fucking far. I thought the shit was like a tugboat ride away. That's just like that's just is a nice little distance. I didn't know that. But yeah, let's do this.
For any women that watching it right now, if your goal is to meet a guy and you move into Thailand, then do not do it. Do not do it, because how I would describe it, it's a tragedy. It's an absolutely tragedy. Yeah, it's awful.
So what's it like competing with Thai women then, as a Western woman?
Look, I know in my videos I say competition. I don't compete with anybody because I know the guy that I want is out there. I will meet him one day and I would be suitable for him. I'm not suitable for everybody. I think with Thai women, perhaps they're not as demanding as we Western women are. Yeah, we are demanding because, of course, if I invested in my education, and I know from the comments that I get from all of my videos about dating, all the men saying, we don't care about your education, we don't care about the money.
Thai men, are you interested in Thai men?
Do you know what? I've seen one hot guy in a whole a year and a half that I've been there. I've seen one guy, he was a reception guy at the gym. He was really, really nice. But I don't like to approach guys myself. I think I'm very old fashioned when it comes to that. I like to men to approach me and, to maybe reach out to me first.
No.
But yeah, I've seen one. I wouldn't cross them out, but it's just I haven't met one that I thought, oh, I like the look of him. Or for me, communication is important. I think a lot of foreign guys that come to Thailand, all they care about that she's hot, she's young, she's got a banging body, fake boobs, pretty face, long hair, doesn't ask for too much.
That's all any man is looking for. That's all. If you go back to cavemen, it's gonna be the same shit that it would have been with Benjamin Franklin. It would have been with Genghis Khan. It would have been with Bill Gates. If you sit me, Hitler, Joseph Stalin, what the fuck is that? Y'all see them bubbles? What's that shit? Joseph Stalin. I don't know if you guys can see that. If you sit Martin Luther King, Judge Joe Brown, and Ike Turner, you sit us all in a room and be like, okay, what are you looking for a wife? Are you looking for fucking young and beautiful and hot, banging body and all that? Would you prefer that? Every man in there would say, yep. It's not fucking. That's the baseline for any and every breathing man since the beginning of time, right? It's the women who have to change throughout the time period, right? Right? You go back to a caveman and see that woman, she can't do nothing with a Rolls Royce in year 3. What the fuck she gonna do with a Rolls Royce, you know what I mean, and a Rolex watch in the year 3? She can't exploit that. She can't exploit that for pussy. She can't use her pussy to get that because it ain't got. I mean, she could, but she ain't gonna have no use for it. So what uses her pussy in exchange? What use is a cave woman's pussy in exchange for a Rolls Royce in year 3? Nothing, right? So see that woman. Women change according to whatever she can fuck out of a man, right? Perfect example. I remember me and my girl, we went I took her to Prague Castle. Not Prague. Yeah, it was Prague. No, yeah, it was Prague. No, it wasn't Prague Castle. It was this other castle in the square. I always get those two confused. But anyway, you walk in there, it's a bunch of artwork, and it's a bunch of statues, and it's all this, paintings on the wall and all this shit like that. It's a beautiful place. It really is. And it was it was like a woman over here, like a man like on the other side of the room. It was like these mannequins dressed up, not mannequins, but they were like more like statues dressed up, in the clothing of the time, right? And that clothing that they was wearing was like they were the shit of that time, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it'd be like now motherfucker coming out and in all super expensive shit that's now, but it was in their time period, right? And the bitch, she was there in a tight dress and some long hair. Right. I tell you what, let's do this. It was like that had to have been like 1800s, right? Now they ain't gonna age too well, but let's just say look like this one, or let's say like this woman, right? Well, 1800s. This is probably more like the 1600s, what I'm thinking of. But what I'm trying to get at is this, right? See, even with this woman dressed like this, she's wearing a corset to make her waist look skinnier, but it's the same shit that every dude would fuck her. Watching the stream right now, if that woman came up to you and was in a good attitude and was acting right, every man on earth would fuck her, right? Now, homie, right here, wearing them knee-high boots, he come walking up. Bitch she might dog him out or laugh at him, right? Because he walking up with some knee-high boots. You see what I'm saying? See, Man has now these just like some regular old bitches, but they still bitches, right? If she came up to a lot of men and was just acting like she had some sense, and you know what I mean, and wasn't being a complete cunt, right? You keep her on the roster. Now she's not like she probably wouldn't be your first choice, but you keep her on the roster. But now you bring homie up in one of these, one in a coat like that, and he walk up to a bitch nowadays in the club, be like, "Hey, what's up?" And he come up with the, you know what I mean, with that full back, with the, with that whole back part on the coat, a bitch will laugh at him, right? Right. But on the flip side, with her in that dress, she could walk around and somebody will still fuck her. And you know what I mean, and if she act right, they'd stay with her. But man always has had to change because woman is looking for what's in at the time and what can she use it for, right? Man just wants woman. Every man in here, fuck it. Even I don't even know. Look, if she came up to you and started acting, just talk like she had some sense and she was cool, you fucking with her. I don't really find Harriet Tubman attractive, but if she was just talking like she had some goddamn sense and she just wasn't fat and fucked up, yeah, she'd be on the roster. Like again, I'm not saying she'd be my first choice. Like I mean, like I would like you know, I'm not dreaming about the bitch or no shit like that. But what I'm trying to say at the core, she's just woman. It's just to be woman, right? She's just woman, right? But it don't work that same. It doesn't work the same way the other way, right? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. See, woman just doesn't want just a man, right? Woman wants man to provide da 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 da. Like she like woman doesn't want to just sit down and just look at a man, whereas man just wants to sit down and just look at a woman. But I could tell you when it started, like, yeah, she ain't gonna find her this woman's dream man is not gonna be in Thailand. I don't know. The only reason why I could even conceive of why she would even go to Thailand is because she did what women usually try to do, and they wait for men to go out and find success in something. Then women try to copycat that and try to build their success off of it, and then try to pretend like they came up with it the whole time, right? Because I don't know why she would even go to Thai. There's no reason for, especially a healthy looking white woman, there is no reason for her to go to Thailand unless it's for work. To go out there and try to go dating, that is nothing but a colossal waste of time. That's a colossal waste. Like I said, or she was fucked up. She had to been something. Maybe she tried to go and fuck some lawyers. You know what I'm saying? Some relatively speaking, some heavy hitter type dudes. Maybe she tried to go hang out with them, and she just got recycled and thrown out. Right? That's about the only other way I could see that happening. In its best light, right? She probably went up there like one of them redhead redemption type bitches. She tried to run up there with them lawyers and all that shit, or them Wall Street dudes, and just got recycled and got kicked out, and didn't make that cut. And she'll fuck around and try to go to Thailand. And she probably, I bet she probably already has gone to Thailand. And I'm not trying to knock the Taiwanese, is that how you say it? I'm not trying to knock them. I have nothing personal against Thailand. The point I'm trying to make is the average incomes and that don't match up. It doesn't match up. Oh, okay. So let's play this. Her going to Thailand, right? In terms of her whole area as a woman, her going to Thailand would be like a cave woman getting with a dude who had his left leg chopped off. Right? Like a cave the cave woman's gonna have to go out and do all the hunting, all the collecting shit. She ain't gonna want to do that. Right? Unless that dude has some serious game. That cave woman is not gonna want to get with a man who had his leg cut off. or bit off by a mammoth or some shit like that. I don't know if mammoths could even bite your leg off, but you see what I'm saying? Like she's not gonna want to go out there and get with that in relation to her in the world. That would be, I would say, the equivalent. That's a waste of time. She might have a fetish for a dude with an amputated leg. Like she might have a fetish for Thai men, but she ain't gonna try to. No, seriously, no, absolutely not. That's a waste of time. That just, you do have anomalies here or there that happen. I'll admit there are anomalies here or there, but for the most part, no, that it doesn't work.
Wash, think that you are a king and that's it. What about you? What are your thoughts on Thai women?
Well, I'm married to a Thai woman.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She's old-fashioned when it comes to approaching men, and that's the only thing that's not included in being equal to men, which creates a dating environment of modern women wanting equal results in life. Like men, but at the same time maintaining the special benefits and privileges of being a woman. We all should invest in cat food.
Do it.
So, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I remember where I left off. I think it was like last week or week before last. I was saying, see, the issue is that, okay, like the modern girls, the modern women in her position, they want to think that they can do everything that men can do all the time, right? Because see, woman, her ego is so flimsy and pathetic, she cannot accept the fact that she just can't do something. That woman just can't do something that men can do, right? So, but here's the thing: it's woman's nature as to why she's fucked up, right? See, as a man, we don't care how much money a woman makes, right? And see, as a man, especially coming from like a richer country, that man from a richer country can go off to pretty much any other country and can sell, right? And be happy to what he's going to sell to, right? Meaning like a poorer country woman, right? He can sell to a Czech woman. He can sell to a decent amount of Italian women because their economy's fucked and nobody talks about it. The American, or at best, he could be equal and they can grow relatively because he can sell his exoticness of being American or German or whatever the fuck. He can sell that being foreign, like a German guy can come to North America and can sell because even though he may make the same, well, he could sell that exotic side of just being foreign, right? So in the reality of it, men from the richer countries have far more options on earth, right? Is if they know to use them or not, or if they know how to use it. And that's part of this, but that's due to man's nature of not being so terribly and just being a terrible human and horrifically judgmental, right? Now on the flip side, see, the woman, she can't go to Thailand and find happiness. This woman can't go to Ukraine and find happiness. Well, not now, but before the whole Russia situation happened. She can't go to Romania and find happiness, right? See, she can't go to fucking Venezuela and find happiness in that, right? Because her pussy won't allow her to, right? Her woman's happiness is tied into who can protect her. That who could protect her, but who can also check her. That's where her happiness lies, right? She can just have a fetish for some poor country dude, but she can't. No, she has to stay in her league or higher, right? Which is fucked up too, because okay, from the perspective as a guy coming from a richer country, see, like my girl or any woman in like a poorer country than mine, she's just as equally as a piece of shit as her. Like, she's no better. And so don't get that confused that, oh, if I leave the US or the UK and I go find a Czech girl or a Belarusian or a Serbian girl, she'll actually be she'll be better to you, but she's just as equally as a piece of shit as her. right? Because the only difference is, see, that Belarusian girl, she's doing all that to them Belarusian men and below, right? The only difference is because of the luck of where you were born at, she may fuck around and treat you better because she sees you as a viable protector. So she'll start get all that feminine energy will start coming out then, because women know how to play that feminine energy when they want something. They all know. If they've been taught, then they naturally know it. Right? So don't let them Thai girls or Czech women or Argentine or Brazilian women. No, they're just as equally a piece of shit as Sarah in HR in Ohio. They're all equally pieces of shit. All of them are doing the same thing, right? To their respective man, to the man in their area, league, whatever. They're all doing the shit to them, right? My girl, she knows. I tell her all the time, if I was a Czech dude driving a forklift, you wouldn't pay me no attention. She knows. And she get a little mad, like, oh, because, and the reason why she gets mad is because I call her out, because she wants to believe that she tricked herself into falling in love with a dude, and the fact that and it's this happy matrimony meeting and all this shit. Like, no, that's not what it is. So that's the reason why she gets like kind of low key mad about it. She goes, type of shit. Like, yo, if I was a regular Czech dude driving an Uber, or if I was a regular Czech dude working in a warehouse, you wouldn't pay me no goddamn attention. I mean, if I was a DHL courier or some shit like that, you wouldn't pay me no fucking attention. Right? I'm not that dense. I could be dumb, but I'm not that fucking stupid. Right? So that's one thing I always want to make completely clear. Okay? This woman, the only reason why this woman cannot compete with Thai women is because chances are those women will see a substantial increase in life when trying to get with a Western man. Whereas, see, this woman's not going to be impressed by any of that, and she's going to require more and more and more and more. Right? So she knows her attitude is, she knows that her attitude is just not going to be in the right place. Once she go over there and she see how dirty them walls get to looking, and you know what I mean, the corners ain't manicured and dusted out and cleaned, and you know, once she get over there and start seeing that shit, she gonna hit that. And she already is. From her, it's not that she can't compete on a physical level. That's not gonna be her problem. That's not gonna be, even at 38. That's not gonna be her problem, right? Because somebody's always sitting up trying to get with something that looks like that. That's not. Is that her problem? She knows that she mentally just can't put up with that because she's used to better, or being able to go get better. Thailand's a waste of time for her. And I'm sure when she told her girlfriend she was going out there, they all was like, why? I bet they all hit her with that why? Why you going out there? Just like when I went to Ukraine, when I told people from here I was going to Ukraine, I told the Czechs I was going to the Ukraine, and all of them hit me with a why? That's a poor country. This shit ain't no secret. See, motherfuckers like to play like they righteous and they don't see money and all that shit like that. Motherfuckers like to play that shit. You know what I mean? But when the shit gets real, they get behind closed doors and they think ain't nobody listening. Motherfuckers know exactly what it is. I remember when I told people I was going to Ukraine. I told Czechs I was going to Ukraine. They was all like, ugh, why? That's a poor country, man. It's rough out there. And Czechs said that, right? You go to Germany, and the Germans, they say the same thing about Czechs. I think that's pretty funny. Oh, Yana Hawking's back. Yeah, she's back. 2023. So Yana Hawking was this the insane reason why all these hot, successful women are still single. Well, yeah, she says because they set standards for men that are too high. Maybe my Mr. Right is trying to herd sheep into a shearing shed, she said. That's a tongue twister. I'm waiting. Here's what I'm waiting for. As like I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen, but one scenario that I do have um, is that the older women in the Yana Hawking shoes, they're gonna eventually start getting so desperate. Like they're gonna start dating like any man that's gonna come around and just start cleaning up the market. I think it's a possibility that it could happen. I really do. But I think what would have to happen, this is just a random thought because I seen the video again with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, and Ben Affleck walks Jennifer Lopez to the car and opens the door for, and he's like tired and fucked up. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with him, but but he walks out there and opens the door for Jennifer Lopez, and she's just looking like a big ass kid. Jennifer Lopez looking like a big ass kid, staring at her phone, hula hoop earrings, all this shit. Bitch like 58 years old, still walking around looking like that. Just embarrassing. But she gets in the car, right? And like I said a long time ago, Jennifer Lopez know Ben Affleck must be a chump to be putting up with her like that, to be opening the door for her, and she ain't saying thank you or nothing, and she like 50. Jennifer Lopez knows something wrong with Ben Affleck. She knows, but she gonna keep playing it, right? They may not be together no more. I don't know, but what I think would finally start breaking women, because women just follow whatever they think other women are doing. If Jennifer Lopez were to like, she's already tried it before, date some dude. No, I think no, Madonna was the one who did that, but Madonna couldn't really keep a man anyway, so she don't really count. But Jennifer Lopez can at least stay with a man for some period, stay with a reasonable man for some period of time, right? Like when I say reasonable, like a man that's higher than her, right? But I think what would have to happen is Ben Affleck would have to leave her, and so older bitches finally just start getting it, like, oh wow, like there's no real reason for men to be with us because we can't give them any more children, and we're annoying as fuck, and the only thing we had was desperately holding on to our youth. You know what I mean, to try to trick him into wanting to fuck us. So like we really ain't got shit. And then those women go out and actually start acting like they got a little bit of sense. I think that would help out Yana Hawking and Yana Hawking's. But yeah, it says the dating world is in a state of disarray. I came to this conclusion last week after I invited my girlfriends over for a glass of champagne before a fancy lunch at Iceberg. Yeah, see, this is how you know she's finished. Whenever a woman has to completely state, and it's always got to be something expensive, like it always has to be something that can be interpreted as being expensive. That's when you know she's done, right? Like in dating profiles, when women hold wine glasses, when she know good and well that that's a $3 glass of wine, but she knows that wine glasses can be interpreted as classy and or expensive. See, whenever women have to elaborate on things that can at least be interpreted as possibly expensive, that's when you know she's done. She's just not having the expensive thing, right? Right? Like younger bitches, they'll just be posing expensive shit, or what younger bitches will do is what I've seen nowadays. What younger bitches will do, they'll go and shop in Zara all day long, and then go walk down in front of a Louis Vuitton store and just pose in front of Louis Vuitton, knowing and why they wearing all Shein and Zara shit. That's when you know they done, right? They can't get up in the bigger leagues, right? But once they get older, they know how to dress it up a little bit more for the older people. But yeah, this woman's done. Because birds of a feather flock together. So she went out with girlfriends for, okay, so what woman in her 40s has time to go out for a glass of champagne and a fancy lunch? That's a quiz. A, is it women who have a family and a life and they've grown and developed? B, poor quality mothers who get drunk all the time and and want to go out with other trashy women and drink. C, women who can never keep no damn man, so the highlight of their life is drinking is writing articles about how they drink champagne and ate fancy lunches. Or D, B and C. Answer is D. B and C. Those two women. Women who have grown and developed don't just have random time willy-nilly to just go drink champagne. You know what I mean? As I looked around my lounge room, I realized that all of my friends are absolute catches. Not only are they gorgeous, but they also have great jobs, comfortable wages, and a ridiculously good company. Yeah, they're such great company. They sitting up there with you in the restaurant, and not in front of some man. They're ridiculous. They're just like you. They're so great company. Oh, this must be them. The room full of reject bitches. They're so great company that they got to sit up and look at each other and secretly be mad at the other one because she's prettier than her, or she's got better teeth or better hair, or her eyes ain't got the crow's feet yet, or whatever it is. They're such great company. Yes. And it's not just this group of friends. I have at least 2 other groups who are all in the same boat. And yet, coincidentally, what did I say? B and C. B and or C. They're all single. Birds of a feather flock together. Birds of a feather flock together. None of them are bad looking. But there's a reason why they can't keep a man. What does it say? Not for one of trying, may I add. We spent the afternoon recounting hilarious dating stories. Ooh, God. Sharing the bonkers things we had seen on dating apps and pondering why dudes insist on sharing gym selfies. Hashtag ick. You are 40 years old talking about ick. That's why y'all sitting up single. Can't find no damn man. 40 years old, sharing stories about random cocks you sucked off Tinder and posting hashtag ick at 40 fucking... How old is it? How old is Jana Hawking? Let's go here. Let's say she's 30. What? So she's a year older than me. She's 30. So she's 37 last year. So she's 38. Hashtag ick. You too old. Just give it up. What we're after isn't anything too crazy. A nice guy who is well put together, has emotional intelligence, a decent job, and is nice to women. And dogs. Definitely dogs. Yeah. I doubt that any of this is very hard to find. With you living with these being in the UK, this is not going to be hard to find. Well, no, correction. It might be because for any man who has his shit together and has money in the UK, they can really afford to just go fly to Europe and go find a woman, find a woman that's going to treat them better than they will. Now, as an American in North America, this wouldn't be too hard to find at all. And North American men, they really ain't trying to travel like that because it's just a long ass flight. I don't blame them. I don't blame American men for not wanting to travel because it's a long ass flight. It's always gonna be like 15 hours, and that's if you coming from Ohio, where I come from. It's gonna be like 15 hours. So I don't blame you. So where are these guys? She says. Well, my original thought was, oh, I know, they're chasing after girls in their 20s. I asked one guy in my office what he got up to the weekend. He said he had his girlfriend's 21st birthday. He's 37. As he was complaining about how immature her friends were and a lack of nice wines to choose from at the boat cruise they were on, I thought, well, why the heck are you dating a 21-year-old? Look, now, before I go any further, what she's leaving out is that the dude probably tried asking her out, and she probably be playing to the left and all that other goofy shit. What she's leaving out is that this guy who now has a 21-year-old girlfriend, he probably tried asking her out before, Yana Hawking, and Yana thought she was too cute for him and all that shit like that, and he went off and did something better. Right. Perfect example. I got a scenario, right? There's I got some neighbors that live down like four stories down, right? And they was always cool. I always really liked them, right? This dude, I think the dude's like 35 and the girl's like 32 or some shit. And the dude speaks fluent English. He's a great guy. He has a resting bitch face. I thought he would be like super mean. He's actually a very nice guy. And they broke up, right? And he moved out and left. And the girl, like, she's walking around on this whole, like, I think I'm cute shit. And she is a cute girl, but she's in her 30s now. And I told my girl, like, that girl is 30. She hit another height of the dating market that she's not ready for. Now, the guy, he's like 35. Like, for him, he just sees it as like, terrible, terrible, terrible. Because as men, it's much harder for us to go out and find a woman than it is for a woman to go out and find a man, right? So like from the male's perspective, when we lose a girlfriend or a wife, especially the first few times, that's just like world destroying, because from our perspective, it might be 3 or 4 years until we find a woman who would just text us back 3 times in a row, right? Because that's just what life is as a man, right? Whereas from the woman's perspective, she can always find a dude. She can always just go play housewife real fast. Always. Whenever she feels like it, right? She can always just go play a housewife. But in the reality of it, see, that the guy who's 35, his life can very well only just get better, right? What always stops men is that they get too hung up on that past of failure, rejection. They don't want to go through anything like that again. That's ultimately what holds men back, or like the fear of traveling and moving and leaving. Shit, that's what ultimately holds men back, right? Because if the man can learn to grow above these issues, that fear of rejection and blah, 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 he may not find another girlfriend for years, like how his life was the whole time before that. If he can grow out of that, he's just going to get exponentially better. Than the woman is always going to go down, right? And I was telling my girl with the neighbor, she's 32. The last time she was on the dating market, she was like 25. So she's hitting the dating market from the perspective of, oh, like all I gotta do is wink at a guy and I'll be treated like royalty type shit, right? right. And that's not the league. That's not the league she's in anymore. 30, 32, 33, something like that, right? She's not in that league anymore, right? But she wants to think she is, but there's nothing, and the thing is, there's nothing she can do. Whereas as a man, there's always something you can do, you can always, there is always a chance for a man to do something, figure something out, and become valuable, and become more valuable than he was before. A man always has it. Women, no. The majority of their value was in trying to dress up, and to the best. These women right here. Well, let's go back to the whole family picture of rejects. Okay, the only power, at minimum, 85% of the reason why these women got away with anything in life is because they spent hundreds, if not thousands, of pounds, dollars, euros, whatever, and spent hundreds of hours in the mirror trying to maintain looking like they were 22. That's where all their value lies. If you strip out anything that doesn't have to do with them trying to maintain looking 22 for as long as they can, you don't have anything else for them. She's done. And it's just and next year it'll be 5 more pounds of makeup. Next year it'll be trying to get her eyebrows plucked just a tenth of a centimeter, a little more, because she think that that's getting her more attention. It's going to be getting her teeth whitened even brighter. She's going to get Botox put in her fucking eyebrow. Name it. These women are going to spend the rest of their lives doing whatever they can to try to maintain, to try to resemble what she looked like when she was 22, because that was the highest point. That was the highest point in all of their lives. And it's going to go, and it's just going to go downhill from there. Right? In other words, her being fuckable, right? Because on the back end, on the other side of it, right? See, the looks department for men is nowhere near. Men can override looks with 1 or 2 or 3 other parts of life, whether it's just money or it's just a funny personality or a good personality, or it's just being really good at woodwork or whatever the fuck. Like a man can compensate for the looks, right? Whereas women, there's not much character in women on a whole, right? Because like I've always said before, by the time when a woman hits the age, once a woman hits the age where she's realized that guys want to fuck her, 1, and 2, she can alter her appearance. I don't know why the balloons keep coming up. That's some Streamlab shit. 2, she can alter her appearance to get more attention. That's when all philosophical developmental growth comes to a halt. And her biological purpose is there now. Right? She doesn't have to do, and that's it. And the rest of her life is trying to hold on to those years. And there's always a fool somewhere. There's always a fool. Let's say she turns 45, 50, 55. There's always a fool who will spend $500,000 on a 94 Honda Civic. Right? There's always a fool out there who will do that. Somewhere. There's always that fool, right? But she knows where her value really was in, where it was really at. But back to where she said, yeah, the 37-year-old guy has a 20-year-old girlfriend. That 37-year-old guy, I bet you he tried to ask her out, and she played him to the left, and he went off and found something younger and prettier than her. And see, here's the other part of this is that, see, women know when they be fucking up like that, right? Like when the guy has a 21-year-old girlfriend, see, she didn't get mad at the guy right there, but that Yana Honking went to the bathroom and cried. Now she'll never tell him, and probably and will tell her friends over secrecy. But Yana Honking, when she found out that homie went off and got a 20-year-old girlfriend, Yana Honking went in that bathroom cried. Oh yeah. Bruh man cried. Bruh man cried. As he was complaining how immature her friends were and the lack of nice wines to choose from in the boat they were cruising, I thought, well, why the heck are you dating? Okay, yes, yes, it is horrendously judgmental of me, but seriously, what do they talk about when not going at it like rabbits? Well, that's none of your business, honestly. Why are you thinking about what? Why are you thinking about this now? Why does that matter to you? Right? Why do you care what they talking about? Why? Why I tell you why? Is because again, women only remember when she gets treated like shit from men. That's the only time she's gonna really remember a guy. And then in this case, she got left. So now she on the internet writing articles about the motherfucker. I've been thinking for quite a while that the reason we're all single is because my gorgeous friends and I are getting passed over by blokes we fancy because we're too old. Well, now, yes, but you weren't too old this whole time. You couldn't keep men because you're all probably just horrible cunts to be around. You weren't 37 years old this entire time. And you've been single this entire time. Right? Now you can blame it on, oh yeah, now it's because I'm too old. Like, no, you weren't old this entire time. Right? Like you've become old, and I'd say in the dating world, and this just happened over the last 7 years, 8 years. But you couldn't keep men. You couldn't keep men because you probably have a shit stank fucked up personality, and nobody ever set you down and told you. And even if they did, you could just go out and just snap your fingers and get some dude to come groveling at your feet, in 5 minutes. So you never had to learn how to have a personality until it's too late. So she says, but I begin to think perhaps the issues that I and my friends have paved out lives we absolutely adore. And if we're going to add a man to our life, then they must be on the same level or higher. Yeah. This is what Coach RedPill. Wait, is Coach RedPill still doing it? I don't even be watching YouTube like that. Coach RedPill had a great analogy for women in this position. Women in this position use this as an example as the sour grapes, as was the wolf trying to get the grapes. Was the story it was a wolf where he would the wolf was trying to get grapes from a tree, but he couldn't get the grapes, so he walks off and says, "Oh well, the grapes were sour anyway. I didn't even want them." Right? That's what women that's what women in this situation, that's what they're doing. They're just trying to blame the grapes now. There's something's wrong with the grapes. The grapes are sour. The men are bad. It's not them. It's the men. Because they can't find anybody on their level. Look. Now be honest with Yana Hawking. With this issue, and I really hope you do read. And I want you to know, if you ever watch this, I'm not saying this to bash you. I'm saying this because you need to hear it. And many other women, all your female friends need to hear this shit. And women of all ages need to hear this. All right, now really think about this, Yana. Read what you just wrote. She says, I begin to think perhaps the issue is that I and my friends have paved out lives we absolutely adore, and if we're going to add a man to our life, then they must be on the same level or higher. You can't detract. You must add to my life. All right? Now, Yana Hawking, seriously, look back at your entire dating life, right? Was this not the same motto that you had the entire time? This was this not Okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's say up to 25, you were fucking with just bad boy asshole dudes, because girls go through those phases, right? But again, you're a woman. You're smart. You're independent. You know, you can make your own decisions. All that, right? So it's up to you to grow as a human. So with the highlighted sentence in blue, let me move this down so you guys see it. With that highlighted sentence in blue, right? You didn't come to this epiphany in the last 6 months. You must have been on this for a while, right? So if you're so where this goes next is, if you're so amazing, if you're such a great catch, you're just great company and all this, then why is it so difficult to find a man to keep around you? Right? Your motto at 30 wasn't, oh, well, I'm looking for a man to detract from my life. I'm not looking for a man to add to my life. Your motto was always that. See, just don't try to play this whole thing, oh, well, it just happened now type shit. Right? No, it's you. The problem's you. Something's wrong with you, and you fucked around and found the same other birds of the same flock that are in your, like I said a long time ago. And this is probably the more realistic picture right here, because you can see their wrinkles and shit. Like I said a long time ago. See, women segregate amongst themselves, right? See, when you see Yanahaki, see, all these women are right in that same group of physical attractiveness. I used to say this a long time ago in older videos. See, if you go on Facebook or whatever, Instagram, whatever, and you look at women's friends, and you can see their friends group, see, all see, 8.5s, they gonna hang out with other 8s and 9s at best and worst. They're not gonna hang out with too many uglier women or too many prettier women, right? If a woman is a 6.5, she gonna hang out with 6s and 7s, and she usually ain't go too much higher unless they family members, something like that, like brothers and sisters, some shit like that, right? But they women don't want to hang out with people who look better than them or worse than them, right? Beyonce does not want to be seen in the same picture with Precious. Now, Precious could fuck around and, and feel like she could fit in with Beyonce because she thinks she looked cute that day. But Beyonce does not want to be in a, you wouldn't catch Beyonce dead taking a picture with Precious. Right? And I'm not trying to make fun of Precious or make fun of Beyonce, but that's just how women are. See, they not get ready to post pictures of a Yana Hawking looking bitch and then a Kathy Bates looking bitch, right? She ain't trying to be in the same picture with Kathy. Yeah, for those of you who don't know who Kathy Bates is, which I love Kathy Bates. I think she's a great actress. But see, this woman and this woman, see, they don't take pictures together. They not friends. They don't don't even know each other exist. Right? Right? It just is what it is. That's just how women move. Women segregate amongst each other. Yeah. He said you were average at best. Good luck with the cats. Yeah. This is that, I like the middle one right there. She has a certain look that I've always liked in women. But yeah, she's not part of that crowd. That must have been some girl they just met. The one in the middle. Cause she's not part. I don't think she's in. Yeah, they must have just met her. But yeah. man. Women's friends are their biggest enemies. Yeah. Old Marcus Curva. Malek Curva. You know, it's a curse word, right? Well, you know if you made your name that. I don't know if it's technically a curse word or just like a bad word. You would know, yeah. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's like fuck. I can't remember Curva. I can't remember what that exactly means. Coach RedPill got arrested. He got arrested in Ukraine. What? Coach RedPill was Shanghai by Ukraine Special Police, and no one's heard from him in months. Jesus Christ. Coach RedPill got arrested. He was called. Last time I see, he was calling out a lot of that Ukraine shit, like how they was dressing up like model Ukraine bitches to go and had them holding guns and shit. He was calling out a lot of shit that like media just wouldn't catch. Damn, he got arrested for that shit. Well, yeah, man. Like, yeah, they gonna shut you down. They shut down my Patreon for doing that, for talking about Ukraine, because you talking about them. You already know. You making white people look bad. That's an international crime, dude. You making white people look bad. You can't do that. Even white people can't make white people look bad. That is an international crime, dude. Yeah, they probably did lock him up for that, because he was calling that Ukraine shit out when it was starting. And like a lot of fake YouTubers would go there, try to pretend that they was on the front lines. He was calling that shit. Yeah, you made white people look bad. You can't do that, man. You got to be, look, it can't be white people's fault. Now, had they been African, the world would have been all down for it. Well, you know, that's what they do. But Europe, no, you can't do that to Europeans. You can't do that to Europeans, Coach RedPill. You can't make white people look bad, dude. You can't do that. They gonna shut you down. They gonna turn you off. But to be fair, though, I think a lot of Americans have caught on to all that money they was giving to Ukraine. But here's the funny part, though. Is there's another part that you ain't gonna hear from the news either. Is Ukraine? They get their group. They tricking all their people to come back, right? It's funny, but it's not funny, right? It's funny, but it's not funny. And the reason why I say it's funny is because in some of them Facebook groups and shit, it's Ukrainians selling they Range Rovers and shit, because they was getting that Ukraine money. They was getting that Ukraine aid in Czech Republic. And that ain't on Facebook selling them Porsches and shit. I was like, hey, I gotta hurry up and go to Ukraine. I gotta sell it. I can't afford this motherfucker on my money. I was using your money for this. I took a picture of one ass. That shit was so funny. I meant to post it somewhere. I'll tell you, it's somewhere in my iCloud. But yeah, to see CNBC and ABC and CNBC2, CNBC. They ain't talking about that shit, right? Because Europe, they can't do that to their own. It's got to be a reason. And until they can spin it, all focus is gonna be on cryptocurrency now. See, they ain't talking about how Ukraine, how when the school year caught back on, they was tricking a whole lot of Ukrainians. Say, oh well, guess what? Yeah, sorry, your kid can't go to school here because they need a special visa to go to school here, and you got to go back to our embassy in Ukraine to go get the visa, right? Right? And they say, oh, okay, and then they drive back to Ukraine to get the visa, and then drive back to the border, and they weren't allowed to leave. Yeah, see, ABC News ain't gonna tell you that. See, they ain't talking about that shit on mainstream news. How they hold their own and how they imprison their own people to try to keep their country intact and their culture intact. They ain't telling you about that. Right? But they ain't tell you how they was giving them 2,000 euros a month just to go to school on. That wasn't even counting the rent, and that was responsible for a lot of this rental crisis that's going on in Prague now. Because what happened was they was getting like 15 to 2,000 euros just to go to school in a free education system, by the way. And on top of that, they had to start hiring Russian and Ukrainian to teach the kids in school because that's what language they speak. They don't speak Czech, right? Then on top of that, they were giving a living allowance, and then on top of that, they were giving landlords a bonus for renting to Ukrainians, right? So like everybody was getting fucked up, especially here in Czech Republic. Everybody was fucked up. Like the price of rent and Airbnb went through the roof, dude. Like when my dad came here, I'd never seen an Airbnb that expensive, right? Hotel prices had been creeping up for some years, but they went like unbelievable. That Ukraine is, yeah, CNBC, they ain't talking about that. CNBC, ABC, CNN, they ain't say a word about any of that. See, they didn't say how in Ukraine what the Ukrainians were doing was they were kicking out like the Ukrainian landlords, they were kicking out their tenants and then renting that same flat for like 2 and 3 times the price. They was fucking over their own out there. And see, they didn't say any of that shit. Coach RedPill probably did, and that's why he got shut down. That's probably why he got arrested. Because Coach RedPill had whole fucking episodes on this shit. That motherfucker did a whole documentary weekly on that shit. He probably talked about it, and they bitches on X videos with they pussies hanging out talking about some support the troops and all that silly shit. Them motherfuckers was wild, man. I'm not saying, look, now on the flip, I'm not saying Ukrainians are pieces of shit because everybody just wants a beer and some pussy, right? Or some food, right? But like that scenario was like wildly, the media really did a number with that shit. There's a lot of stupid white people that are going against white people, man. Damn, yeah. Talking about Gonzo, yeah, Gonzo Lira, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, even with all that said, like I'm not saying like Ukrainians are not bad people. Like they're just in that position just to take advantage of the of the position given to them. That's just it. Like I'm not saying they're not bad. Nobody, like, no group of people is really like bad intentionally. They just people just in a position, and cultural values kind of take over. AD is wrong that I don't respect my father as a man. I don't want to be. I respect him as my father, but after years of watching him, I know for a fact I don't want to be like him. I mean, well, Xavier, it's just that's one of them things. I think here's the thing: with you and your father. Like, let's use me and my father, right? There's parts about him that I didn't care for, and I'm sure there's parts about me that he doesn't care for at all. But from my position, I have to accept that my dad is 30 years older than me, right? So there's many things that I just won't understand yet. Now maybe some things I'll just never understand or I'll just never agree on that he does or says or his philosophy. But there's also many areas that I'll just like like your father is always going to be 20, 30, 40 years older than you, right? They're just always going to be in that next realm, right? And it never depending on your profession or your insights, you can kind of narrow the gap. But it's essentially like when you were fucking 2 years old and you wanted some cookies and your dad said, no, you don't need no cookies. Now, from your perspective, you wanted cookies because you just want some cookies because they taste good. Now, your dad said you can handle cookies because you just ate 55 fruit snacks and you know you're going to get a stomach ache, right? But you can't see that because he's got that age on you. Like that same theory could possibly apply as you get older. Now, of course, there's different theories, not different theories, different, situations. But like I said, like with me and my dad, differences between me and my dad. It's like me and my father and my child's mother are actually very similar. Both of them share a lot of the same traits. both of them are very very much alike. Both of them are like are morning people. They get super dedicated. I always told my dad would have made a great Marine. He would have made an excellent Marine. I'm not a good Marine, but he would have made a great Marine. And I'm not saying it as anything negative or positive. It just is what it is. But but yeah, my girl and my dad, they're very much alike. They're far more alike than than I think they even know. You know, for better and for worse. The good part is like they're both very loyal, very dedicated. At least from my perspective, very loyal, very dedicated, very respectful. You know, all that character shit. From my perspective. And the bad sides that I don't like about both of them is that neither one of them really like to try new things. Which she's with an African American dude, so I mean that's kind of like crossing a big boundary with that. But outside, like because I'm with her, like she like if I let my child's mother go, like, she'll just eat the same breakfast every fucking day, like scrambled eggs with sautéed onions. I mean, and cut up some bell pepper, and she would eat that every fucking day, right? She only eats she eats chicken all the time. Like she has the more stereotypical black diet than I have, right? She'll eat chicken wings, chicken wings, chicken breast, chicken eggs, chicken eggs, chicken all day like that, and she could just eat the same 3 meals. And my dad's pretty similar. Like they don't neither one of them fuck with sushi. They don't fuck with like chicken hearts. They don't like my girl. She'll cook me the chicken hearts, but they don't fuck with anything foreign like that. Well, she fucks with me, but with me being with her, like she doesn't do. She ain't trying to do. If she don't know how to do it, she don't want to know how to do it. And my dad, he kind of has my dad. He's a bit more adventurous when it comes to some things, but overall they're very similar. It's the same frustrations. I have the same frustrations with my dad as I have with her, and sometimes it does get to be too much from both sides, like because they're just so much alike. Because they say how guys grow up to marry their own mother. Like I grew up and married my own father. That's what I did. I married my father. But no, because my mom was the same way too. She didn't like doing many. She didn't like doing anything new. She didn't like nothing new. Nothing. I'm the one who will go out there and make a fool of myself in public, and then just brush it off like it was nothing, and keep my day going. You would never even know, right? Now she would never do that. My dad would never do that, or my mom absolutely not. They would never do it. But I'll go do it. Like I'll go into a group of people and just start pop locking. Just if I just feel like doing it. Or I remember like when we first started dating, we used to be walking down the street. In Prague is like a fairly congested place, and I used to go like, uh-oh, I think I'm feeling it. And I just stop and I just start shaking my foot like on the ground. Can you see my foot? I think I'm feeling it. And she would just start laughing, and I just do something like crazy, like in the street, and just start moonwalking. Just don't give a fuck, dude. Like I do the YouTube thing, but YouTube is behind the camera, so that don't really count. But yeah, no, yeah, I married my father. Yeah, your girl and your dad enjoy their routine. Yeah, yo, what's up, Mo? Yeah. But yeah, I'm complete opposite from both of them. Complete opposite. So Somniorexio copy of him and my brother. You mean maybe my brother? I don't know. My brother, he's just on a whole nother program. That dude is just fucked up. He got a DUI. That's what that dude's just on a whole nother. I just don't even talk to him, man. He just. I don't know if he's trying to be cute. I don't know. I just don't fuck with him. I just don't have time to fuck with. Like, I just don't have time to just fuck with just stupid shit. Like if there's no sign of growth in a human, like at all, like I just don't have any time. I just don't have any patience. Or it's like if it's come to the point where I'm convinced that there's just no sense of growth in a person, I just have no time for them at all. I just don't care what happens to them. I just don't care. There has to be some sense of some type of awareness, growth, understanding, something. But if they're just like, yeah, that guy's just gone. But yeah, no, but yeah, man, it was but as far as you don't respect your father, I mean, or he doesn't. Let me read the comment so I don't get it wrong. It says, well, yeah, I say it's okay. You don't want to be like him. That's totally fine. That's totally fine, man. Like I don't see anything wrong. Like I think it would hurt a little bit. Like if my son were to tell me that like he doesn't want to be like me, it might hurt a little bit. But like I think ultimately, like if your father really loves you, which I'm sure on some level he really does, maybe he just doesn't know how to say it. Ultimately, like like for my son, like I want him to just all I care about with my son is that he gets a good education. Or if not formal, that I can teach him and get him out into knowing some stuff in the world. Just in one form or another, I just all I care about is my son's education, right? After that, like he can hate me. Like I really don't care. I say that now because he's not like fluent speaking yet, so like I'm sure some shit will hurt. But like, but even with that, like I want him to just find himself, right? And even if it means he doesn't want to be anything like me, like I want him to just have himself and find himself. Like that would make me more happier in the end. Um, so yeah, I like personally, I think it's okay if you don't want to be like them. If you're never gonna see eye to eye with your parents. If you're seeing eye to eye with your parents, then more than likely, one of you two are lying. You try to hold on to something else, or one of the parties never developed into their own human. So one of them's just kind of following the other one, kind of thing. But I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. Well, as far as you don't respect him as a man, that's a bit of a more deeper conversation. Oh shit! I forgot I even had it up there. I ain't I got to babbling. It's not pleasurable to look. It's not pleasant to look. He's so boring. Fuck. Word up. But yeah, man, as a parent, man, like yo, like, cause okay, here's the thing, cause your dad doesn't know anything that's going on in your head. Like you know what's going on in your head, but your dad doesn't know. Like, oh, cause here's the thing. If your dad knew exactly what was going on in your head and knew what to do to make you, if he knew, it's the same thing with every human. I think what Socrates talked about this shit. Like if everybody just knew what to do, they would always just do that. Like nobody walks around intentionally wanting to do the wrong thing or be seen as negative and all that, right? If you knew what to tell Dua Lipa to have her deep throat your dick in 2 seconds, you would just do that. You would just tell Dua Lipa, hey, da 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 da, and she's like, oh, in 2 seconds, right? Like you wouldn't any woman you seen, right? Like if you just knew what to tell her, you would just do that, right? So like, so back to the father scenario, like if he knew what to just if your father knew what to say or do, he would just do that, right? Because everybody just wants to be loved and to be loved, right? Now the thing is, he just doesn't know. Like he's not in your head, right? You're in your head. I'm in my head, but my dad's not in my head, right? Um, and like I said, there's things about him I don't care for, and I'm sure there's things about me that he absolutely doesn't agree with or care for. Um, but from my perspective, to him, I want my father to have his own life and to be happy with his own life. And as far as respecting him, I don't really know how to how to specifically identify the respecting him as a man part. But I mean, I respect everybody. I do have a certain respect for everybody. I really don't know how to really define it as a man, and do I respect my father as a man? I really don't know how to properly identify that. But I've never like intentionally cursed at my dad intentionally or anything like that. And it was never like I never got to a fight, a physical fight with him or anything like that. Um, but again, it's like it's just that thing as a parent. Like maybe now that I'm a parent now, I kind of get that side of it. It's like I don't know what's going on in my son's head like at all, right? And if anything, he'd be frustrating the hell out of me with his random crying and shit, and I'd be talking about some chill out and all that, and then maybe he got a stomach ache or something, and that's why he's crying, and I done told him to chill out, and he's in pain, right? I don't know, right? So it's like. So it's just, you really hit this point from my position. I'm just in that point of really realizing how much I don't know, and all you can do is just try. Like you gonna make mistakes, right? Like every you going so like, and that's the other part. Like now I'm on a rant on being a father, but like one thing I let go of real early was the whole thing of like trying to be a perfect dad. Like I already know, like I know I'm gonna fuck up, dude. Like I know I make mistakes, but you wanna know what's crazy is I be thinking that he's not gonna remember me when he sees me again, like or like he just don't really take into account who I am type of shit. Cause I be gone for like a day or days, or she go to her mom's, or she like she's gone right now, and like I always expect this motherfucker to not remember me, right? Like, or be like, oh, like don't touch me, I don't know you like that. But this motherfucker, like when he sees me on the phone, he immediately knows who I am on a like if he's not like on like a FaceTime or something like that, he immediately starts smiling and knows who I am. And he doesn't like men like. The friend of mine who came out with his daughter, he had to stay in the other room because when she brought him in here, the girls they was on the floor playing right here, and I came and brought her some chips and shit. They call me Uncle English, but because they don't speak English, so call me Strata Anglitsky. Which is Uncle English in Czech. And when he came over, like he couldn't come in there. Like Kratos hates other men. Like he doesn't like grown men. So when the friend of mine he brought his girls down, like he was screaming for me while I was in there talking to him. So I came in here and he like grabbed my hand and wanted me to sit next to him for a while. And the friend of mine, Andre, he was in the other room because he couldn't. If he came in here, Kratos just start crying, like flipping out, running to mommy. I can't touch him now. like if another man is in the room and mommy is in the room, I can't even touch him. Right now, if it's just me, then he'll just like climb on me like for dear life. But if it's another man in the room and mommy's in the room, like all men are just evil type of thing. But yeah, it's a really weird situation. Y'all talking about bikes? Oh, was that boring? God. I'm talking about motorbike cruise control on bikes. That's how bored I was. Y'all talking about cruise control on motorcycles. I speak for myself as a parent. My wife and I don't want our child to be like us. We want them to be their individual self. All we want them to be is a good individual. Yeah, Neo Morpheus. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Once my dad tells me that he loves me, word up. Miss, let me see. My brother is the same as Irene. Yeah, my brother's older than me too. My brother is 7 years older than me. So if I'm 30, if I'm 37, he is 44. Yeah. And like that's the other part that I remember when I came back to the U.S. the first time, and I had BMW, and I remember we went down to his mom's house, right? he was living with his mom. Fucked up situation. And I remember I went and talked to his mom, and as soon as I seen her, because his mom knows me, and she goes, "What kind of car you drive? You drive a BMW, don't you?" And I just laughed and said, "Yeah." And then we got to talking about me being in Europe, and that's when I was like, "Wow, I'm the asshole relative that went off the university, drives a BMW, and lives and is coming visiting from Europe, and my brother is living at home with his mom." That's when it like hit me, and it was like, wow, like because I knew she was gonna treat him like shit when we left. I knew it was coming, and she did. I think she ended up kicking him out for like a day or two or something like that. But and he's just like dressed like like a bum because he's like working at like Little Caesars or some shit like that. Like, it is like it's just like old cigarettes and beer cans. It was really like a bad TV show. Like you mean like when them TV shows do that, and it's always like that extreme like one of them's fucking like Charlie Sheen and the other one's Roscoe off Martin type shit. It was really one of those situations, and it was hard to just be there. It really was. It was hard to just like, because then it's like I don't want to be the asshole. But now I'm the snobby asshole who's visiting from Europe with a BMW, and I'm pretty sure I was wearing some suit at the time because that's just my casual wear is just a suit because I just hate matching clothes. I'm wearing a tailored suit with a BMW outside, and I'm visiting from Europe, right? So now I'm that family member who does that shit, right? So like, so it's just really awkward for me to kind of go back home or like talk too long to my family there because it's like now I'm that guy now, right? Whereas like I'm not just a guy, like I'm not just a guy who works at a warehouse, like you some basic job, relatively speaking, a basic life. Like I'm him. Oh, him. Yeah, I'm that guy now. So it's like it's awkward to even really go back and now I'm just venting my life and so like the other weird part is like so when I'm out here in life and I'm doing my thing in life, like it's been hitting me recently where I almost start to like because I even now I kind of suffer from a bit of imposter syndrome at times because I just it kind of hits me and I'm like I'm just a kid from Ohio, right? Like I should be mopping a floor in a factory or something. Like I'm just a kid from fucking Ohio, and now I'm walking down the streets, speaking another language with a baby in another country. You know what I mean? Like, and I almost be like, oh my god, I should just give up. I start getting down about it. Like, how the fuck did I end up here? You know what I mean? I remember it started hitting me when I went to Ukraine, and I'd be walking down the street, and all of a sudden I'd just be like, ooh, it would hit me in my chest. I'm like, I'm not, back then I'm thinking, I was never supposed to make it this close to Russia, right? I was never supposed to, based off what my life was when I was 20, I was never supposed to do this type of shit, right? And I would get these like little mini like panic attacks walking down the street in Kiev. It would hit me then. Start getting dizzy and feeling nauseous. Like I'm not supposed to be here. You know what I mean? Like, and it still hits now. Sometimes I just really start putting it together. Like then I'm thinking like, wow, I actually did YouTube, and I'm meeting people from all around the world, and and people ask me advice off of YouTube. Like, damn, when I stop and think about it, like it's like, what the fuck? Like, how the fuck did I end up? I remember when I wasn't even supposed to get into a university. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I remember when getting into university was only for the gods. It wasn't for me, right? I fucked around and got in and then graduated that motherfucker. Like, that was enough. That was if you had told me in 2009 that I would have actually graduated from college, I would have told you you were crazy. Because I started college in 2009. If you had told me in 2009 that I would have actually graduated, I would have told you were fucking insane. You were crazy. Graduated one time, I would have told you was crazy. I'd have finished that shit 4 times. And to be clear, because this comes up too, 4 times does not mean I did. Okay, just to be clear, how I graduated 4 times was I started off at a community college, and I did two associate's degrees and a bunch of little certifications because you get that along the way, and then I went to Wilberforce, and then I got my bachelor's there, and then I went to University of Dayton, and then Capella University, and did that, right? So, but it wasn't like I took like 4 degrees at one time. Because I think that came up a long time ago. Somebody thought I did it like all at once. I was a quadruple major. Like no. It was pretty much one for the end of the network engineering. I was technically a double major at 2 different colleges because the community colleges in the U.S. only are 2-year degrees, and universities are usually the 4-year degrees. And so when I finished the biotech, I went to the military, came back, and went straight back into school for network engineering. And then at the end of network engineering, my uncle, the gay uncle who was he was on the board out there, I got into Wilberforce. So technically, I was taking health and human services and network engineering at the same time, right? And then when that finished, technically I went into Wilberforce's mental health program, and I transferred from there to University of Dayton, which was something most people never do. It's through the VA because they thought I would never do it, and I was one of the few who actually did it. And then on top of that, I transferred again and moved to Europe. So yeah, so that's how it worked. I didn't do a quadruple major. No, I didn't do that. Will AD, we are proud of. Well, thanks, Mo. Thanks. I don't take compliments well, so thank you. And I'm racist from Russia. I eat and drink. And okay, racist from Russia. Thanks, Mo. I'm horrible at taking compliments, but thanks, man. Appreciate it. That's the way for most people, though. Angry Bird just won $1 million in Street Fighter 56. I bet he still doesn't fully comprehend it. Yeah. If you win, yeah. I was in that mindset when I was a teenager. I had to be reminded that you're capable of doing whatever you wanted in life from my grandmother and aunt. Coming from Ohio myself, I totally get it. Word up, Neo Morpheus. Yeah, man. Like, yeah, I come from a suburb of Cincinnati. Then I went to Dayton, and it was just like, man, this was like 2000. Well, I started college in 2009, so I was 22, 21, 22, something like that. And in those years, that was in Ohio. In those years, that was when that recession had hit, and like you couldn't. It was really either you worked in a factory for like $9 an hour, or you had to go to college. That was really your only options. Because all that middle shit, the trades wasn't even really known from my perspective at that time. Any factory or warehouse job paying over $12 an hour was just unheard of by this point. So that was really like that was the only thing you had to work with was you had to go to school. If you didn't go to school, you were just never gonna ever get anything. So and the fact that I was 21, 22, I was really like that was my, like how Eminem said, this may be the only shot that I got. Like it was an 8 Mile shit. It was lose yourself mode. Like I ain't have nothing else, right? I had nothing else to work with, and I knew. And on top of that, I was getting older, right? I was 21, 22. I knew like there was nothing else going, so I had to do it, and it was rough. That shit wasn't easy. I went through the same thing, AD. I just moved back to Texas from Italy. I used to talk to you in WhatsApp when I first moved in winter 2020. You helped me out. A word? Yeah, I hope I pronounce Yano. AD, consider a Yana article. This is the future conclusion for women going forward. Get fucked by Chaz until they age out. Do you think surrogacy is the answer for most of us? Well, yeah, that's a good ending for the most of us. Yeah, because yeah, um, I think at some point, I said 2 days ago, I think at some point men will start to take over. I think right now men are just in the bargaining phase of it right now, and they're just trying to play along with it and all that shit. Once it's going to slowly start becoming more and more clear that bargaining shit is never going to work. From Greek mythologies to religions to all this shit, there has never been a look at any point in Greek mythology when motherfuckers sitting up praying to the gods. What did that shit really get motherfuckers who was praying to the gods? They got them fucking. They end up getting cursed. Every fucking they never made out. Very rarely they did make out peaceful in Greek mythology. I mean, in any type of that ancient any. I'm just using Greek mythology, but any mythology, motherfuckers very rarely got out smooth and clean. It was always like, you mean, there's no point in that whole trying to be nice shit doesn't work, man. It even in mythology it don't work. Right? That being nice shit doesn't work. You had a fear and overcome it. Now you're here in Europe. Yeah. But do you think surrogacy is the answer? Yeah, back to that. I think it's going to get to a point where men will grow out of the bargaining phase and just start taking shit, or become violent, or either or just completely tap out. But on some level, Western women have a very dark future waiting on it in one way or another. Okay, one way or another, women and or humanity in Western countries have a dark, grim future coming up ahead of them. Because you let, like as history always proves, when you let women in control, everything's gonna go to shit, right? Even in charge of themselves, they can't run themselves. I I think, yeah, like I think men will grow out of it, and on some level, women are gonna get like checked hard to the point where they're, women. Okay, here's the thing: women always thrive whenever they're in fear, or they're like being in some kind of way beaten down. Now, I don't advocate physically beaten down, but you have to wear down a woman in some way to get her to her fullest potential, right? Like, okay, the only reason Dua Lipa, I'm using Dua Lipa, that's the only female I know, woman star that I know that everybody should know. The only reason Dua Lipa dresses up to look like that, to look good, is because here's the thing, it's because deep down she knows that she doesn't look that good normally, right? That's what's pushing her to dress up and look nicer and better in the end. And deep down, she knows that even after she dresses up and looks good, there's still a guy out there who's just not going to be impressed, right? That's what pushes Dua Lipa, or the Dua Lipas of the world, to continue that path, right? Because as history always proves, if a man comes up and just completely worships her for being beautiful, she's going to treat him like shit, right? She has to be beaten down before she starts to thrive, right? She has to be, usually psychologically. Psychologically is usually the best way that I would advocate to do. Women have to be psychologically beaten down before she starts to thrive, right? I like pink Himalayan salt. So does Kratos' mom, and I always make fun of her for it because you can't taste it. And she always do that salt-based shit on it. She likes that shit. Well, I can't taste this. You dump the whole goddamn bag in that motherfucker. It's a bag like this big. Just dump that shit. Just put because I can't taste it. The fuck is this? Will men grow out of chasing women? At some point. So yeah, so negotiating, yeah. Well, it never was an option. Negotiating with women is like trying to be nice to gods. Like historically, them motherfuckers don't give a fuck about you. Trying to negotiate. All right, the only time the gods would really start to care, like with women, is when motherfuckers started ignoring them. Motherfuckers just didn't care. Oh, okay. Wait a minute, you ain't looking at me? How come you ain't looking at me, motherfucker? What? Somebody just got pulled over. So I'm gonna get out of here, man. It's 9:37. I catch you on a flippy flip, man. You have a good day tonight, wherever you are. And I'll catch you later, man. Peace out.